guys, my name is Anji and today I'm gonna talk about my 5 favorite fantasy books. Well, let's start with a little disclaimer because I'm not gonna include a series, or better said, a book that a one of you is totally thinking that I'm gonna include because everyone has read it and I haven't. At least I haven't done reading it. And that's it. It's Harry Potter. And I'm pretty ashamed of it. I'm on page 180, so I just started reading the first book. So I love it, obviously. I also love the movies, so it's a common thing. But still, I'm not going to include this, maybe into a future video. I don't know, but well, that just has this one out of the room. Well, I'm gonna start with my number 5, and I'm gonna warn you, the first 3 books on this list are all from the same author. They are all from my lovely Cassandra Clare. She's my favorite author and I love her. I just love her. It's the truth, I love her. She's everything I ever wanted to be. Well, when it comes to writing. The first one, number 5 on my list, is City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This wonderful pretty edition. I have other editions too because I'm obsessed. City of Heavenly Fire is a number 5 because I loved the ending. It was just a great conclusion, and that ripped out my heart, stamped on it, and then shoot it also like 5 times or even more. The whole last part, I just cried for it, and I'm not gonna spoil you because I'm not a mean person who spoils people, but I'm gonna tell you what this series is about. It's about Clary. She's at the beginning of the series 15 years old, and she finds out that she's a shadow hunter. Well, what's a shadow hunter, you might ask? They are actually demon hunters. You kind of think of Supernatural in a fancy version. And it's about her finding out she's a shadow hunter and going on this mysterious quest to find her mother, who was taken by another shadow hunter. And she meets other shadow hunters like Jace, Wayland, or whatever you might call him, and they fall in love. Like, it's your typical teeny romance story. It's kind of a little bit of a guilty pleasure, but it's great. It's been with me since I'm 13, and it's like, that's 7 freaking years, if you know what I mean. So it really belongs there in my heart. And after that, there's going to be City of Lost Souls. Well, that's the 5th book, and City of Heavenly Fire is the 6th book and the conclusion. There are 6 books: City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire. The reason why I like this one a little bit more than this one is because of Sebastian. That's a character in City of Lost Souls, or better said, a character from City of Glass to City of Heavenly Fire, and he's my favorite character, even though he's the evil one, and I just love him. He's misunderstood. It's like with Loki. He's just misunderstood. And yeah, this book has the most Sebastian in it than any other book, and I just love it, even though he's really douchebag. But that's a great story, and as I said, it's a freaking guilty pleasure, but it's great. It's funny. The whole dialogues between Jace and Sebastian, or Jace and any other character, is just funny, and Clary she's just a really nice girl. Number 3 on my list is Clockwork Princess. It broke my heart so many times. Just even thinking about it just makes me devastating. It's great. Well, it's also about Shadowhunters, so it plays in the 19th century, if I'm not completely wrong, and it's about the ancestors of the characters from City of Bones, etc., etc. It's about Will, Jam, and Tessa. Tessa thinks she's an ordinary girl, again like with Clary, but then she finds out she isn't. But is she a shadow hunter? Is she a warlock? Is she a... Well, we don't know unless you read the book. And Tessa comes from the US to London to meet her brother. And he disappeared. And now she's also looking for a brother and is in this beautiful love triangle, and I hate love triangles more than anything, but that's the only love triangle that's really good. Oh god, I just can't decide what's better. Wessa, Jessa, or Heron Stairs. Those are... Tessa is just really smart and nice, and she loves to read, and she's witty, and it's just great. Jam is... he's just a little cinnamon roll. If he was anything, then he would be a Hufflepuff. And the last one would be Will. Will is just like your typical bad boy, but in the 19th century. It's really fun. It takes you into a magical journey, and it's beautiful. Okay, I'm pretty bad at describing my favorite books because I'm fangirling all the time. Well, what up? The next book I'm gonna talk about is a book that if you don't know what's coming now, then you haven't seen my last video and you have to watch it because it's good. Stuff like that. The next book I'm gonna talk about is from another favorite author of me. I read it also since I'm 13 or even 12, so around 7 and 8 to 8 years. And he has a lot of books. He has like, let me think about it, like 10 for sure, and there are going to be another 5, that would be 15, and then there's going to be another 3, that would be 18, and then you have 2 companion novels, that would be 20. Well, he has a lot of books that are already out or coming out, so, well, he's great, and I'm very, very happy that my favorite authors are writing so much, because I can't get enough of it. And the book I'm going to talk about now is ta-da! The House of Hades by Rick Riordan. It's the 4th installment of the Heroes of Olympus, which take place after the events of Percy Jackson. Well, I'm not gonna describe you the whole plot of Percy Jackson, but I'm gonna describe you the premise of the first book of the series and tell you why I love this book so much. I'm not gonna spoil you about the Heroes of Olympus, but as long as this little baby is standing up here, you'll be warned. There are going to be spoilers for Percy Jackson. Okay. Spoilers. Good? Good. If you haven't read Percy Jackson, then go. As you might know, the 5th book ends with a prophecy about 7 heroes who gonna save the world, and that's actually the story of the Heroes of Olympus. Those are our lovely characters, Percy and Annabeth, Frank, new one, Hazel, new one, Leo, new one, I love him, Piper, and Jason, who I absolutely despise. I just don't like Jason. But that's another whole story. So the main difference is we don't have one protagonist, we have 7. And it's all written from their perspective. There are different chapters from their perspectives. So it's pretty great. The first book is about Jason and Piper and Leo. And the second book is again about Percy and about etc. etc. And they're all intertwined. And it's a great story. And The House of Hades is my favorite book because it puts our characters through hell. And it maybe sounds pretty bad, but I love it when my favorite characters suffer. Well, it is really bad and I love it, but it's just something I love. And it keeps you on your seat, and you're just like reading it and reading it. And I've read this book, I don't know how many pages, I've read 600 pages, around 600 pages. in 2 days because it's just so good. It's just like you sit there and you're just like, what? Like really, it's phenomenal. It's the best one for the whole series of books with Percy, in my opinion. It's just great. It's just really, really great. And you can't read it, of course, you haven't read Percy Jackson, but if you read Percy Jackson, I really, really recommend it. So, spoilery section, the end. And for everyone who hasn't read the Percy Jackson series yet, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Read them. Read all of Rick Riordan's books. They're great. The last book I'm gonna talk about is, well, actually I have only read one book from this trilogy, and this is going to be the second book I'm gonna hold up because I've lent the first book to a friend of mine because it's awesome. It's like the best book I've read in ages, and this is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. As I said, that's the second book in the installment. I haven't read it yet because I'm reading with a friend, and yeah, we haven't come around to this, but the first book was so great. Before I start fangirling uncontrollably about this book, I'm just gonna give you a synopsis of the plot. Well, this book is about a lovely Kelsier and Vin, and both of them are capable of eating metals and then have special abilities like flying and changing feelings of other people, etc., etc. Normally, those abilities are only for people from higher ranks, like, I don't know, like your mighty old queens and stuff like that, like really the people higher up in a hierarchy. And normally people like Vin and Kelsier, who are rather poor, don't have these abilities. And normally, it's also really, really uncommon to have all the abilities that you can have. Normally you only have like one, which extreme strength, for example. And Kelsier is the head of a gang who wants to bring down the Lord Ruler. And it's pretty great, and Vin is the 16-year-old girl who's actually always been really mistreated by her brother and has a pretty shitty life, and Kelsier helps her with that and brings her to his friends, to his gang, and she learns to control all her abilities and to fight, and she learns to trust. Brandon Sanderson put so much work in it, and you see it, you feel it. It's just like, it's one of my it's my favorite book actually. I have read it this year, and I can't fucking say that's my favorite book because it's great. It's just, if you're gonna read it, you're just like, within seconds you're into the story, and you're just like, wow, that's freaking great, and it is. It's the best. Like, for real, I love the story. It's just magical, and I can recommend it to everyone who loves fantasy, especially if you're new to high fantasy, because it just gives you this little push to fall in love with high fantasy. It's just like, it's great. It's fucking great. Read it. So, those were all my favorite books I'm gonna talk about. All my 5 favorite books in the fantasy genre. If you want to do me another one, like a contemporary one or a sci-fi one, actually I don't read so much sci-fi, but you get there. If you want me to do another one, just tell me. I would love to do one. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would love if you comment and tell me what are your 5 favorite fantasy books, and I see you in my next video. Bye!